Kia ora, kia orana. Okay, so fun fact, I just finished recording this whole class and then realised that the microphone was muted. My bad. So here we go, round two, and just a bit of housekeeping mainly for myself. Just a reminder to myself that this does not have to be perfect. I'm a Virgo, I'm a 2-4 projector, and excellence is what I strive for, and that sometimes means that I, you know, I record these 25 times. So that is not the point. The point is to get this done so we can get it out. And if I misspeak or, phrase things in a different way, it doesn't mean that I need to start the whole video again. Okay, good. Let's continue. So welcome to this class on weaving self-esteem. Self-esteem is, to me, the foundation of true freedom, because without it, can we really, truly feel free? If we are constantly being shaken, impacted, affected by things, can we truly feel free? So this class is about helping us understand and weave self-esteem so that we can unlock fulfillment and a balance that is unshakable and unwavering. So let's jump into it. Firstly, let me talk about what happens if we don't understand self-esteem. And to do that, I'm just going to run you through a sequence that I often run ideas or classes or models through. And this sequence starts with awareness, moves into acceptance, so that we can actualize a new reality. So awareness, acceptance, actualization. Everything starts with awareness. If we don't know something, we don't know that there's any other options. Like, we don't know. We're just doing things the way that we've always done them. As soon as we become aware of another way, that's when we've got a problem. That's when we've got something to solve, because now we know we've been doing things one way and now we know that there's another way and we've got a problem, a gap to bridge. So everything starts with awareness, and then we've got to choose to bridge that gap and go on that journey. And the way that I teach people to go on that journey is to create the space in their internal world to actualize a new reality. So, speaking of awareness, if we don't know what self-esteem is, the part that it plays in our world, then, long story short, we won't be exercising any agency, any mana, over this area of our life. And, things that are happening will just seem like they're coming down to chance or, bad luck or good luck, Things will just feel like luck, bad or good. But really, our life is based on so much more than that, okay? And we can actually help shape it and help guide it in a certain direction, give or take. So if we don't understand how self-esteem works and that we can weave it, we won't be weaving it. It will be kind of set in time, or be sort of woven randomly, but we won't know how to do it, or that we're even doing anything. And if we don't know how to impact our self-esteem and our self-esteem is low, then we'll find ourselves constantly seeking validation from others. This was a huge one for me. I couldn't trust a bone in my body, right? I was asking my aunties, sisters, friends, anyone, right? And yeah, it's a loop. We'll recognize these loops. We'll also recognize that we settle for less than we deserve, meaning we stay safe. We end up in these loops of fear that we'll fail, therefore we'll just hold ourselves back anyway. And that's called sabotage. So we'll notice these loops when we don't have self-esteem, or when we don't know how to, impact, increase, and strengthen our self-esteem. However, if we do watch a class like this, or we've chosen to be in spaces like this, and we learn how to weave our self-esteem and understand the part that it plays in our life, we understand how to work with it, well then we get to change that narrative. We get to use our agency, we get to step into our mana, into our authentic power, and we get to strengthen our self-esteem. We'll, from there, we'll notice that we start to we start to trust our own judgment. That's what happened for me. We get to advocate for ourselves in all situations, in all rooms, in relationships. And when it comes to journeying, and creating, going through the sequence of being aware of something new, working to weave it in with acceptance and creating space to actualize a new reality, when we go through that journey, all different stages, ups and downs, we can view as just natural parts of that journey of learning and growing. There's a saying, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. So yeah, although we may fall, that's just teaching us something. What is the feedback, and how can we do things differently? So here's the thing. We can learn to weave self-esteem. I know because I've been doing it for the last 10 years. I was recently talking to somebody about how I started out becoming a coach. And I always laugh when I tell this story because I was 28 years old. Like, I know, like, I love that version of me who was just so, yes, ambitious, like, just innocent, all of it, like, just, she's great. But at 28 years old, I didn't see what was happening before me. I didn't see that me stepping into being a coach and choosing this path was actually me choosing to decondition and reintroduce new ways of living my life, because the old ones, weren't serving me. So that's what I was actually doing. I thought I was building a business and doing all of this. And I was, but mainly what was happening was that I was being refashioned. And so when I started coaching, I was learning about how to refashion, remix myself. And I was learning about self-esteem. Self-esteem is the ability to communicate our boundaries, emotions, and needs in a healthy and respectful way, because they can be done in a not so healthy and respectful way. But the aim is to do them so that they cause no harm, and so that they're true. Like if we watch somebody or think about somebody who's communicating their boundaries in a non-healthy and respectful way, it just seems like they're putting brick walls up. Like, no, you can fuck off. I don't want to hear what you have to say. It just feels like no, rather than like, just healthy. Yeah. Same with emotions and needs. If someone is not expressing their emotions in a healthy and respectful way, it just looks like they're spewing emotion. Same with needs. Just feels like they haven't been communicating their needs at all and gotten to the end of their tether and are now just spewing their needs everywhere. Okay? So we want to do it in a healthy and respectful way. Here's how. Let's begin the weaving. So we weave self-esteem, and it's understanding that in order to communicate our boundaries, needs, emotions in a healthy and respectful way, that is dependent on the health and of our belief in these 3 internal areas that I'm going to take you through. So let me move me. So again, our self-esteem, or our ability to have our boundaries, communicate our needs and our emotions in a healthy way, which is the doing part of building self-esteem. That's us actually going out and taking action, like communicating a boundary, communicating our needs, communicating our emotions. These can be seen. They are done, right? We can feel them. We can witness them. Now, those actions are a result of our internal world and how worthy we feel, how enough we feel, how lovable we feel. We won't go around giving out boundaries in a healthy and respectful way if we don't feel enough worthy and lovable. So inner work and shadow work are what strengthens these statements for us. All right, so we've got ways in which we can strengthen these statements. I said I wasn't going to start this video again because I'm kind of mumbling. You get my point. If these statements sound like I am not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, these will determine our self-esteem also. So we need to know how to reclaim, rebuild, and remix these statements. And also ourselves when we are in these states of feeling this way. It's not going to be that you learn how to strengthen your self-esteem and that's it forever. I told you, at different stages of our journey, it will change, and we've got to know how to come back to our core. So we've got to come back to our core, our center, and teach ourselves and remind ourselves that we are worthy, we are enough, we are lovable. We've got to be aware of how to do that. Then we've got to know how to weave that into our body, and come back to it time and time and again. It's about remembering this by any means possible and necessary. So now I'm going to give you a little activity of how you can weave this. Put a tool into your basket that you can use at any time to come back and remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. So here's the remix. Put little you in your mind's eye. See where she began to change this narrative that she was worthy, loved, and enough. As I said, when we came in, I don't know if I said it, but let me just go back. When we came into this life, this was the truth and the only truth, that we are worthy, enough, and loved. That's it, finished, like, period. Then over time, that started to shape, to be reshaped and refashioned just because of our environments that we were in. There was no real way around not bumping into these circumstances. It just is what it is for a lot of people, and some people, we all have varying experiences of tucking away our self-esteem for safety reasons, tucking away our vulnerability for safety reasons. So back to this slide, if you just connect with yourself, your younger self, and just see where you began to change this narrative that you're worthy, loved, and enough. Just see where she started to change that and, tuck away her vulnerability and being confident and having self-esteem. And just be with that for as long as you need. You may want to stop this video here and just be with that. And then remind her when you get the chance, when you're in connection with her in this assimilation, remind her that you are worthy, that, we are worthy, we are loved, we are enough. And keep reminding her and you as many times as necessary. That's the journey. The journey isn't about holding on for dear life to our self-esteem. No. Life is fluid. Sometimes you're going to be up, sometimes you're going to be down. Like holding on for dear life, like holding on to a bull to your self-esteem and hoping not to get bucked off. It's unrealistic. You're going to face challenges. You are going to have times where you don't feel worthy, where you don't feel enough, where you don't feel lovable, where things are going to press upon old stories and old narratives and old wounds. Your job is, when you are feeling worthy, enough, and lovable, your job is to strengthen your ability to come back to your core and to come back to your center, to strengthen the tools that can bring you back there, so that when you need them, you've got them. So that's weaving self-esteem. If you have any questions, let me know in heartbeat. And we can wālanga, we can workshop, we can weave on them further. I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in heartbeat. Ka kite.